Hi, this is Danny Hammond, and I need to tell everybody that I was just kidding. I can't do this. Um, so I'm going to ask some big kids. Maybe they'll do it for you. I don't. Actually, no. I'm trying to get organized, and uh, I'm just going to try to catch up now. Mainly, the I've got more response than I thought I would have. It looks like I might get enough people to maybe afford a staff. In that case, this will go faster. I don't know how it'll go by myself. I don't see that working out. And um, the problems I had, and I've been doing it forever. So, and the problems I had forever is that everybody wants to tell me how bad their deal is, and that it's special. They've got a special deal, special case of foreclosure. Um, and when you have two or three people, you can do that some, but I've got my own problem with, like if someone starts talking, I start talking. For long, it's 2 hours of talking going by, and I can't do that now. That's why this will work, is that I can talk to, a lot of people at the same time. There will be times to talk, especially if somebody's got an urgent problem. Um, but what I've been looking through, uh, the things that the detailed forms that I hadn't gotten to and the ones I'm getting now, I don't see anything different. So if you think yours is different, think how old and crazy I must be, because I've seen it all before. And it's um and I'll tell you right now, what we're going to work on an awful lot right at the beginning is the fear everyone has of so many things. One thing I'd want to tell you to calm you down. You're not going to calm down. I'm not calm down. But one thing I would tell you is that there is only one possible foreclosing party. So when you're looking at all these characters and you want to prove something, or you want to arrest them all and throw them in Michigan, Lake Michigan, or if uh, they're just characters. Um, and the thing that makes me so mad is that we've been going through this since 2001. And everybody thinks, Trump's the biggest problem I've ever seen. But I don't know that, I think he's controllable. We don't have any progress being made on what we're doing unless it's me, and that's pretty small. And so that's why I want to reach like a big part of the 30 million people that don't know that what happened to them, they didn't do anything wrong. Um, if in fact you have a cast of characters there, one of them is you're a foreclosing party because of some reason that I don't think that we're going to find. Um, and if the supporting cast are all real, the servicer really did take the payments and put them in the bank for the investors of the Remick Trust. If that really happened, then you're going to lose. I've never seen a case that should have been lost. And right now, I don't see any cases that I'll lose. Um, but I want you to know that what we're going to do is like start, reaching in there. We're going to reach in and throw out, characters. And then we're going to say, which one of you guys have written down the famous words from the constitutional doctrine of cases and sorry, cases and controversies. The doctrine of cases and controversies. Where did you write down in your first filing that you had suffered an injury, but you had concrete and particularized evidence to prove it was of an injury that was real, so it's an injury in fact, and you also have the evidence, concrete and particularized, that you can show fairly traces the causation of the injury to the foreclosing party, whoever it is that's doing bad. um, they fairly trace the causation of their injury to you. That's two things that have to be there. That's me going back to simple. I went back 249 years, and uh, the very first case that the court, which is now the Supreme Court, but there's only one court at first, um, there's only, you know, that case was about civil rights because they'd given everyone civil rights and they had said, you have civil rights. And when people were going to sue each other, none of them knew what the civil rights were because nobody wrote them down. That's what whenever we talk about, the first 10 amendments, is about rights. That's what it's about. That's they wrote them down. There's only 27 that have been added since. We need one now where you can take your president down to the city dump and throw him on top, and everyone working with him because that's what's making this bigger right now. Part of what it is. The other is that it was just time for them to spike it again. I don't, and we're not getting any coverage. We can get coverage. I'm looking at. I've talked to some of these guys on YouTube in the bigger groups where there's like 10 or 15 different people like me. They've got. Um, and I'm thinking maybe we can join in there somehow, but I know we can do Patreon. There's a lot of things that we can do, and I'd like to get an association and break this thing. And to do that, I either had to win or I had to get a spotlight. And the spotlight I always thought was going to be I've got to find a celebrity, or I've got to find a journalist that wants to write really the big book. The something to make him famous. And instead, it turns out that the light I can turn on is suing judges. And that makes the papers in little towns or big towns or whatever. Right now, I've got a little town judge that lost his mind, and now he's in federal court, which is the big court. And I have to tell you, I'm working against the two stupidest attorneys I've ever seen. One of them is from the Attorney General of Missouri's office. That because a judge and a judge works for the state of Missouri. You can't sue the state of Missouri. You can't sue any state. I mean, I don't. You can't. You can't sue a state, but you can sue. And this is what's going to help the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac people. And I'm one of them. Mine's Fannie Mae, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are identical. And I see we have some. And I'm seeing a lot of old names, and I'm seeing too many names. They're really filling it up now with just names, and people are trying to figure. Don't try to figure it out. Only one of them is going to say, I have suffered an injury in fact. And I personally have looked at couple thousand cases, know about more. I've done, you know, I've been 60 times in federal court and 140 times, I think, state court. And sometimes I was in state court and got pulled to federal court. And I didn't even know what that meant at the time, but it, none of it is as confusing as they're making it. Everything that you guys are seeing and you're afraid of is a distraction. It's intentional, and it looks like they couldn't be that smart. And I don't know how they're that smart, really. So anyway, uh, I'm really just getting organized. There's not a lot I can do, instantly. I'm finishing the case that we're actually all going to be working off of, and to make you know your cases. Um, and we can do it right now, but I do have to finish it. And there's only I think I'm at Napoleon's tadum tadum. Um, I think I'm there. I haven't even struggled in this, and I've now gone as far as I had foreseen you might have to go. I've never been pushed this far before, or I never have pushed this far. And it, I wish I'd known all this, in 2012 is all I can say. Okay, I've got a couple of announcements here. Um, I have some more info about the foreclosure. I'm going to see how this works. I didn't even test it. Didn't even try. The foreclosure workshops, um, and I'm going to try to do. YouTube has a YouTube Live, and I've watched some guys do it. I watched Social Security guys doing it because I now have to worry about Social Security. Um, and what I think happens is that you can ask questions like a text, and then it scrolls up the screen, and I'm seeing it as you seeing it go by the scroll. And I'll look at the questions. What we're going to do is, if we have a lot of repeats, I'm not going to stop and talk about it every time, but um, we'll talk about some and maybe explain what to do about it, and then we'll talk about some others. I may be saying there's nothing to do about it. That's what I learned. So anyway, uh, I put some new stuff at explaining in my mind how I see this works. But I'm going to need you guys too, because when are we going to meet? We're going to do 2 a week, or we're going to do one every 6 months. That's not everybody will get foreclosed. I am pretty free, and I've intentionally, you know, decided not to even try to do anything else. I'm kind of afraid to do construction and I'm sorry, it's construction and real estate and development, which is what I've done all my life. And I had a really good life. I used to have a really good life. So anyway, what I have some info, and I've got some graphics here to go on the screen. So there's more info on my website, and if you can read that, HTTPS, and then colon / foreclosure fraud answers. And that's not all of it, because the rest is at the bottom, but it's foreclosure fraud answers, and then it's blogspot or dot blogspot.com. Can you see that? Can anybody, is that visible? Oh yeah, it is. It's backwards. It's backwards to me. Maybe I hope it's frontwards to you. Um, you could also, it's now, it, if you Google search foreclosure solutions group, you'll go to it too. And there's, you know what, Google puts all their search results under my foreclosure solutions group. And then that stuff that AI says, what do you do about foreclosures? And they don't have the slightest idea. But if you see it under mine, read those. And don't do any of that. That's the stupidest stuff I've ever seen. What happens, Google goes searching for it and they're looking for law. And this is what I talk about all the time. You cannot use law when you're working against outlaws. By definition, they've let us know what they are. And so when Google goes searching for criminal stuff on the side of the criminal or by the person, they go to an attorney firm where they've got something on their website. Don't read those. Or if you do, don't try not to remember. Okay, I have a live event on YouTube. It's a public event, and I just told you what we're doing. I'm going to say it's 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I'm in Kansas City area. I'm at Lake of the Ozarks. Oops, how is my graphics? Are they backwards? Well, this is interesting. When I look at the tape, I'll know. Okay, I'm going to go back and work on your all stuff it's coming in, pretty constantly. And we'll see where it goes. I don't know what everybody's going to do. I can tell you that some people paid right away, and you can hire a staff if that's going to happen. But we're going to have to prove it. I don't want anybody to quit a job, go to work for me, and then I can't pay them. So it looks good so far. I feel like I can do it. Um, so and let's see if I can make YouTube live work, or we can do Zoom. This looked pretty easy. and I need it easy. And I have some friends that has a lot of technical capabilities, that do these things for a living. And so I'm going to get some help for free from friends that I just did something in the past, and they feel like that's great, good way to pay you back. So I've got some good friends. That's it for now. 7:30, and you know how to search for me on YouTube search. It's just at, the sign, and then MTG, with that short for mortgage, and then FRD. So it's at MTG FRD. FRD's for fraud, mortgage fraud, at mortgage fraud, but little shorts. At MTG FRD. That's it. Then you'll be at my site, and I think that it's already live when you get there. I didn't do a code because I don't have a group. I'm starting a group today and yesterday. So we'll see if this works. And if I'm not there and I can't figure it out, then just give up, and then I'll send something out tomorrow and say we're going to do it today because I've asked some big kids how to do it. Okay, thank you. And this will get better. It'll get better. Also, I didn't see anything except time problems. People in a time crunch. Maybe we can do something. Maybe we can't. But I didn't talk to the lady. I answered her email, and she said, I've got something coming up on October 15th. She goes, uh, but if I think that I've got some help, she goes, I'll just put it in bankruptcy and stall. Okay, that's what you do. 6 of my deals, the stay with the bankruptcy kept the judge from doing anything wrong. He was unable to. Then I filed the lawsuit that said, don't do that, judge. You haven't done anything yet, so you're not in trouble. We're not mad at you. And I had 6 of the judges who they just dismissed the case and quieted the title. Um, they may have been mad. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get that boat after all. I don't know. But I can tell you that nothing wrong with hiding, but I don't trust bankruptcy judges at all. And I've never seen anything good come from a bankruptcy. I don't know how many of you know this. Here's fun facts from Danny Hammond. The trustee in the bankruptcy is an employee of the United States of America, and they get paid a percentage of what they take from you in bankruptcy and give to who you owe. And they will take your house. The bankruptcy judge will give your house to the wrong company, or to someone who doesn't own your house. And those are big surprises for everybody. Now, I I can even bust that, but I don't want to. That's harder. That's treacherous ground there. So, but we get in bankruptcy. Um, if there's almost nothing that we can't cure with 30 days, and I've done when I had 4 days to go before my people would be evicted or foreclosed, and I kept them in their house another 5 or 6 years. That's back when that was a win to do that. Today, a win is to win, and it feels real different. I wasn't overjoyed. I thought it would be, but it's more like, okay, it's over. There you go, folks. And then they've got to go somewhere and rest their heads. Then I don't. I've got to do another one. Okay, that's it. And we'll try this at 7:30. I'll be still trying to look through all the old detail forms. There'll be a detail form on my website. If you really want to do it, you could pay now. Some people have paid. I would tell you to do it when you made up your mind, and maybe something I say tonight will cause you to not do it. That crazy guy. Anyway, or the good thing is you might decide I want in it now, and I want in at the beginning. I'm not going to wait and find out that he needs for me to wait a couple. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Haven't done it before. Um, but I know my side, and you guys are pretty sure about your side, I would say. So I'm going to eat something now. I haven't eaten all day. Danny Hammond, signing off. Thank you.